time for the revision of the practice of the Bhagavad Gita. It's such a practical Shastra, a book of knowledge, book of wisdom. If there is something to learn from it for all kinds of seekers. If you have just started your journey, there's valuable knowledge there for you, information, guidelines. And if you have been on the journey for a while, 10 years maybe, then also there is something always to learn from it. It takes you deeper and deeper within yourself. So today is one of those shlokas which is so practical, so useful, whether you are on the spiritual journey or even if it is just for vyavahar, just for becoming successful in the world, you can use this shloka. Very beautiful. It is the 17th shlok of the 6th adhyay, verse number 17, chapter 6. Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. Yoga, which rids one of woe, is accomplished only by him who is regulated in diet and recreation, regulated in performing actions, and regulated in sleep and wakefulness. Such beautiful guidelines. Yoga means union with Bhagwan. And it's understood to be a state where one is rid of all one's woes, all one's dukhs are over at that stage. How does one reach there? So, you know that if you are competing in the Olympics, for example, the athletes train for years. They discipline themselves in all areas, not just in their particular sport like running or discus throwing or javelin throwing or whatever. They have to practice their sport. They have to do other exercises besides their sport. They have to train in their diet. They have to train in their sleep and waking up time. They have to have a lot more theoretical knowledge also of their sport. So all this work has to be done before they can even think of competing in the Olympics. They will hire trainers in their particular field of sport. They will hire dietitians, counselors, advisors, motivators also to keep them in the right frame of mind, to keep them physically fit. All these things have to be done. So to attain yoga, to attain union with Brahma, which is like a much higher goal and level that we want to reach, we also have a trainer. That trainer is, of course, Bhagwan Krishna. And what does Bhagwan Krishna recommend to us in all these areas that we train for Olympics? All the things that Bhagwan recommends has two things common, and that is balance and discipline. If you have balance and discipline in all areas of your life, you can reach that ultimate goal of yoga. So let us focus on these action points. There will be 4 of them today, and they will help you to train for the ultimate Olympics. Okay. So the first one is to be disciplined in your intake. Bhagwan calls it Bhagwan doesn't call it, but the translator has called it as diet. Ahar. Yukt ahar. Ahar is not just food. It is all the inputs that go into all our 5 sense organs, organs of perception, eyes, nose, ears, skin, tongue. All these have to be conducive. All the inputs in all the 5 indriyas have to be conducive for our spiritual practice. How? By their quality as well as by their quantity. Both these things have to be balanced. So what all needs to be balanced? Of course, the food we eat, what we read, our reading material, what we watch on TV, all the video games we play, the clothes we wear, the music we listen to, the conversations we have with others, all our interactions on Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, all that stuff. All these things, you'll be surprised to know, affects our mind and it affects our mood also. So these inputs are so important because eventually they will dictate whether we will be able to keep ourselves still and stable in our meditation practice. So therefore, being disciplined in our ahar is very, very important. So what should we do? First and foremost, we need to check all these different varieties of inputs for all the 5 organs of perception. Are they sattvic? Are they rajasic? Or are they tamasic? A big exercise will have to be done. And then gradually, if you are having any inputs which are rajasic and tamasic, you need to gradually move them into sattvic activities, sattvic ahar. Then the second one is be disciplined in your vihar. Vihar means in your movements. So there should be a balance between our intake and our output. Okay? What we eat, now actually food, should be digested by adequate exercise. Why? So that the body and the mind does not become sluggish, does not become lazy. Because if that happens, then we will move into tamas. That will be tamasic. So eat only as much as you need for your movements. Now, another way of looking at vihar, movement, is that we are continuously moving. We are continuously rushing around from this task to that task. Mindlessly, we are just busy. All the time we are busy. Our tasks are done hurriedly and mechanically, and we are just ready to finish everything, even our puja or our jap. This is also rajasic. So, balance. Here comes the balance. Input, food, and output, movement, exercise, burning of the calories that you have taken in. And this has to be done through regular sattvic exercise. And even in the movement, even if you're rushing, don't make it frenzied. Just make it graceful, make it elegant, make your movements also sattvic. So that means yukta ahar and yukta vihar. Both these have to be maintained. Then the third thing Bhagwan is recommending is that we should be disciplined and balanced in our actions and in our behavior also. Because of all this rushing around and frenzied lifestyle, it is very difficult to keep the mind calm. And that is why we are losing our temper so often. We are getting irritable. Our speech is becoming rude. We are not able to maintain our triple filter test. We are getting impatient. All this is highly rajasic. And when it is highly rajasic, the mind cannot be still enough to contemplate on our true self. The problem, why are we so frenzied? Why are we rushing around doing so much stuff? Because we are in the pursuit of having more and more. We have some wrong notion in our mind that the more we have, the happier we will be. So continuously our mind is going into having this, having that, getting this, getting that. Even though we have so much, even though we are happy, we want to be happier. So since we want to have so much, then we feel that we have to do so much, do more and more, earn more money, do this, do that, so we can have. Okay. Unfortunately, our modern educational institutions, colleges, institutions have all inculcated this habit of being busy all the time, just continuously. So the sadhana for this is to change the mindset. Change this mindset from wanting to have, and for that wanting to do, but be in the mindset of just being. That is what is needed. How will you be is the only criteria required for spiritual growth. For spiritual growth, it is not important how much you have. For spiritual growth, it is not important for how much you will do successful in vyavahar, sansar. Only how you will be is important. So you have to think about that if you want to progress spiritually. Because here we're talking about yoga, remember? So if you want yoga, if you want to attain yoga, you will slowly and slowly have to move from having and doing into being. And finally, Bhagwan tells us we should be disciplined in our sleeping and in our waking timings. Yukta swapna avabodha. Sleeping time and waking time. Unfortunately, I don't know how it has happened, but it has become very fashionable, a very fashionable habit actually in Kali Yuga, to stay awake at night, to keep go to sleep at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And I don't know what people do at that time, but I feel that at that time, the only thing you could be indulging in is rajasic and tamasic activities, entertainment, pleasurable activities, late night movie, go to the club, go to the coffee shop as if it is needed to have coffee at 1 o'clock in the morning, party, gambling, video games on the mobile. If nothing else, no money, go for a long drive. I mean, it really, I don't know what is the pleasure we get from this. And because then we are staying up so late, it is impossible to get quality sleep and wake up feeling fresh in the morning. It's not just about waking up in the morning. It's about waking up re-energized, revitalized, refreshed, with full sattvic energy. Unfortunately, we wake up with tamasic energy, not even rajasic energy. And because of all this, we are all in Kali Yuga have got diseases because we are at dis-ease. The thing is that all our systems in the body, whether we're talking about digestive system or hormonal system or whatever systems we have, all these work optimally only at specific times of the day. For example, research has shown that different kinds of exercise, when I say different kinds of exercise, I mean yoga is one kind, cardio is another kind, weightlifting is another kind, stretching is another kind, flexibility is another kind, balance is another kind. These are all different kinds of exercises, and they work the best at only specific times of the day. That is the detail at which this body has been created. Now, all of nature follows the correct timings for all their activities. That correct timing is what we call the circadian rhythm. Everything in nature is in sync with that correct timing, except human beings, okay? So even when we recommend to people that go to bed at 10 p.m. in the night, they think it's ridiculous. They spurn it. They say it's impossible, improbable, irrelevant, cannot be done. Then we wonder, why do we fall sick? Then we wonder, why are we so irritable and angry throughout the day? Then we wonder why we are not making progress in our spiritual journey. Sadhana, success, whether it's in the spiritual journey or success, whether it is in our normal vyavaharik life, at your work, at your school, at your business, whatever, depends largely on your sleeping time and your waking time. If you follow the circadian rhythm, you will optimize your energy levels. You will be doing the correct things at the correct time, and therefore you will be making the best use of this very lifetime. So try it out. Try these beautiful 4 guidelines that Bhagwan has given. Discipline and balance in all areas of your life, and then see where you will reach and how beautiful you will feel, and you might even get your yoga, that is getting rid of all your woes. More tomorrow.